Welcome everyone, now we are live. I didn't click the go live button hard enough. So good morning, good evening. All around the world, the first people tuned in, that is amazing. Welcome everyone to our recurring cross-compiling Firefox saga here. And this will be, I promise, this will be the last video. I could have taken the Spark out now. Some late 1000 or so, because SPARC64 build, even of all things. But as I probably said yesterday, what can go wrong will go wrong, and all the stuff fails differently. So I quickly, hopefully less than 1 hour, want to do here some more stuff before I start up the SPARC64 Ultra Spark, some late 1000. And so SPARC64 build with some quirks, because obviously it needs some quirks. Basically just injecting the atomic in there, because atomic stuff. But so ARM64 we already built like a week ago for the amazing Pine phone here of recurring viewer, ship amazing stuff, and view donation here, highly appreciated. Yeah, so ARM64 builds, but everything else fails differently. Can't make this stuff up also, so yeah, can you quickly do this stuff and then one build error after another. So ARM fails, also I think I had too little sleep, this will be an interesting live stream. So yeah, this fails here in audio node engine Neon, Neon of course being the new single instruction multi-data stuff. I'm compiling, I would need to check whether the CPU, I'm compiling it for some old Cortex something, TI, whatever, but that's not, I will not look into this now. MIPS64 also doesn't get that far because dbus. So probably we will start with not Firefox and quickly check this dbus linking error. And everything else also fails differently. Some stuff fails even in ways I didn't even knew existed. For example, a PowerPC. Back in the day, probably sometime in the past, like a decade ago, when we built this natively, eventually it built some time ago. Now it fails in ways I didn't even knew existed, which is just still position here some stuff a little bit nicer, which is of all things, as usual, you might recognize here a theme of linker error. So this fails with linker unsupported -m BSS PLT, so position independent code. Stuff of NSPR. I wonder if these are all files, or maybe it's not all files. So maybe this fix also recurring theme here, right? People also, I mean, one thing is recurring topic here. I mentioned this before, the hilarious $500 million deal there of Mozilla with Firefox and Google. For $500 million, seriously, all the stuff should be amazing, right? I mean, not only is it not as performed as Chrome, it should also support PowerPC, like JIT, at least JIT, right? It should also have the most amazing build system, and like after like Netscape, one of the very, certainly not Mosaic, but one of the earlier browsers, the stuff should be like rock solid, amazing in my opinion after 20 years of development, but somehow it isn't. But so yeah, yeah. Also PowerPC, once upon a time, maybe it was release architecture at Mozilla Firefox, maybe not anymore, but it, yeah. Maybe they do here some trickery. Maybe they add here BSS PLT also just to some NSPR, PR stuff here. So maybe this workaround is as simple, although it's not in the log, although maybe they are hiding the logs, right? It might be a silent build, or maybe it isn't, but yeah, I look into this also another day so much too. Yeah, you native compile a daily driver on your AMD64, you cross compile it for your ARM64 phone, but yeah, everything else is still broken. And can you quickly give us a P3 build which is complete? It's like, yeah, 1 year later, although yeah, it's my 20% and weekend project here. Yeah. Nonetheless, cheers, I need more coffee. So also to the Debian people who constantly tell me we do nothing and everything just works. Everything just works. So the ARM stuff, we probably would need to disable the Neon stuff. We can also, so I'm building for but in a second we will focus again to other stuff, like I want to see Firefox on the Octane. Leave me in the comments below where you want to see your browser running at. SunSpark, SGI MIPS or something else. I certainly want to see it on my SGI Octane. Neon, so it even has neon. This is hilarious. So this is Cortex 8. So we are yeah, this is really whatever. So it supposedly should have neon, theoretically Cortex A8, what we are building for here, but whatever. Not my highest priority. I do this, yeah, sometimes in between, later and forever, hopefully sooner. What E command not found? What did I even do here? Let's tackle this here first to get this build going. Which line was it even? This was line 38. Probably I made there. Apparently post make whatever did maybe I randomly, yeah, this was just some stuff. Then someone in the comments, so we continue with this in a second. Before we continue this, I need to check one thing before I forget it, because amazing people here of our, also hey, 6K subscribers, or 6,000 amazing people subscribed, shared, like and subscribed and stuff on the main channel. That is amazing. All of you rock, and everyone who has not yet subscribed, that is your time. You can still be the 6,002nd one. So here, Mr. Lithium or so says here there's a typo here in that revision. Remember yesterday we substituted there some relative path indexing of config cache with starting with // that's // and I scrolled over this. It looked okay-ish, but viewer says there's over substitution because the dot of course matches everything, that is any character, like any byte stuff of anything. We did here SED stuff, so they say readline. Let's see, readline. Do we? Here is indeed. So good catch, amazing stuff, and that is exactly why. These are the comments that we appreciate and love you very much, because yeah, certainly eventually this bug. This is also amazing, right? I mean, of Linux kernel, we constantly say that the 1,000 or 10,000 eyes review stuff doesn't work the most, especially with all the Linux kernel regressions. But hey, it works for us on YouTube. I would probably not have noticed this in a decade, and if I would notice this in a decade, I would probably wonder what's going on here, because yeah, UClibc and not building that the most. So yeah, this is amazing. I don't know if this viewer, maybe we should actually take a less than a minute to and grab our cheers coffee, and go here shortly a little bit through it. Also, yeah, next time pro tip, next time quote this dot there appropriately and not match anything. That would certainly avoided that. And yeah, not only did I say during the live stream pro tip, always test this stuff, never commit untested stuff. So yeah, always sticking it to my own recommendations the most. Not. I also said word diffing stuff of highlighting what really changed. It's really a pity. Actually, does it have some? Yeah, it would be amazing on, at least I know from certainly some like kdiff. Actually, theoretically we could use kdiff, but whatever. It would be amazing if this text, yeah, leave me in the comments below, like now or later, do you know some text diffing thing that can do interline word diffing stuff and highlight here what actually changed? That would be pretty helpful. The low-hanging fruits, I always wonder why this stuff doesn't have it by default, but then not everyone is perfectionist as we at times, sometimes at least, pretend to be. So, scrolling it over here a little bit back and forth, didn't really... I wonder if I would have catched this readline thing though. But... yeah, so this was UClibc, and Mr. Bonk returned. Welcome there, greetings to Canada, as far as I remember, hopefully correctly. And yeah, you're watching dumbest programmer on YouTube, scrolling over his diff from yesterday, and then we continue with more amazing build errors, because as I said in the AMD 3950X build video from soon a year ago, yeah, epic thread wrapping faster to your build errors, especially in the open source stuff. So base uclibc, let's div that probably, what does it give us? It gives us one thing, so then we reverse merge this with merge negative that in this path here, and so yeah, svn commit reverted, which revision was this? We just hit it here, reverted revision this in package base uclibc over substituting a return configuration. Amazing. Probably that should be good enough. So then let's clean that again and build it again. So there is something, so we start with dbus of all boring and obsolete stuff. MIPS also, yeah, dbus, it builds for all architectures. It builds from alpha to Super H, or actually, you know what, maybe we should actually package this IBM stuff here of architecture so that we have something from set. Because with alpha and set 390 something, is it, or is it X or set? Also, you know what, we can, which revision was it? Is it still visible here? Committed off here, probably that one. I can say here, things fixed in revision Z. And yeah, so IBM set 390 or whatever that was. Is this set, or what is the, or S3 or whatever? Yes, set 390 per table mainframe. Anyway, we can check this another day. Or we can actually check maybe MIPS GCC. Does it have some 390? Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, fine. Before we forget this, because if we don't check it now, this would be git kernel Linus Torvalds. Let's quickly click here on root architectures, and no, it's not set, so it's S390 unfortunately, so that doesn't help us to reach the set of the alphabet. Anyway, one thing we could do, we could theoretically try if, how much effort is it? I wonder if someone has built Firefox for RISC-V yet. I think it wasn't in the supported architectures. So yeah, maybe sometime leave in the comments below, but yeah, time and money and stuff and everything takes quite a while, but that would also be interesting. Mr. Bonk implemented malloc in his subsuit malloc implementation written successfully. Amazing stuff, congratulations. So yeah, RISC-V, maybe some sci-fi something, whatever people have that may be running, but the official, well, at least the 50 version, actually maybe in the very latest version, they might have that already, but we can check this another day. So what is going wrong with this? It's somehow also, yeah, linking of all things. What usually goes wrong, you've seen this, PowerPC and theoretically Spark of missing libatomics stuff, undefined references. And the funny thing is, on the breakfast table this morning, some 2 hours ago, so I already like disabled tests, because this isn't tests. So I like build it with disabled tests that even builds in, but then the next line, then dbus glib failed. So yeah, so much to disabling tests to hide the error. I think maybe the whole path here is wrong. Maybe it is, maybe the issue is, again speculating, that it's instead of a relative or system root path of air path has here the whole system cross-compile prefix of user stuff here. So because it says, so linker warning libg module needed by something not found. So the question is libgio read elf libgio the stuff probably. Let's see, read elf, or what do we, maybe we need a for all, otherwise that's better. So, and what was it? It was yeah. It was GIO or something, or GIO undefined reference to G module open. What did it not? Wait a second. Not found. So libgio, so warning libg module, because I mean normally it should be, so it has here needed by something. I mean this not found, try use rparse and rparse link. So let's see, libgio module needed by libgio something. So libgio something needed. So okay, these are apparently relative. I mean, what is the issue with that then? That should theoretically, why would it? Okay, let's see. What I usually do is check with asterisk. Well, one thing I already did was adding there. I'm a little bit surprised that it didn't just work with adding the library path. Quite verbose one. Oh, now we have this. So it's running this here, link libtool, our general highly appreciated friend, not. And so what's is it doing? So mode link something MIPS64 obviously of. So why did this scroll? Maybe I touched the mouse. So it does it not have any? No, here. So it has the opt gnome lib32 in there. The question is maybe libtool. Either libtool is too stupid, and so strace follow log. So it doesn't find what c not found libtool eval c. What the heck? What, you run it with strace and get some other. Maybe it needs eval obviously. So let's see where it is looking up this libg module in the log. So what I usually do. So it's actually so entry, so user lib, that's so user lib, certainly it's not there, it's in opt. I mean, some of the stuff, as I said previously, some of the stuff is usually and often. Wait a second. Here's the error. It is not expanding, so that is the issue, I guess, or does it? Maybe. Here is something what. I mean, I'm not sure if that is probably not. Wait a second. Maybe this is implementation, because this is our own T2 specific supporting wildcards in there. But maybe actually we do first look up and only if this fails expands this here. Maybe because here comes GNOME. But what is with this? So MIPS64 opt GNOME 2. Wait a second. This is strange. Do we have, so we have here opt GNOME, but lib, why do we not have, we should have libs, why do we have from some, that is bizarre. So there's something fishy, I would think so. Maybe this is not, I need to check in our implementation. So probably that is the issue, this wildcard expansion stuff there. So this is MIPS64. Why would that be different from all the other architectures? Because you see here's lib32. I mean, I wonder, we could actually test if this goes away as a quick, well, actually, you know what, we could theoretically to see how far we get and fix this later. First test if this is the issue, and it is the issue. Okay, fine. So much to our bug and regression and issue hunting skills. So So this should be probably in bin utils, and so LD glob patch. Maybe why would it not do this? I would think. Add etc globbing to the GNU linker. So probably it. Which file does it even load? So what could we possibly do wrong? So what do we do here? Also, yeah, good old-fashioned C handling. Not a huge fan of that, but yeah, YOLO, whatever. Glob result only dir. Pathy through there. So if this globbing stuff expands, so I don't see why. So the only reason that should not work is that there is a second code parse of another linker stuff. Or do we happen to have architecture? Do we have some MIPS64 overlay for package? No, we don't, at least not here. And bin utils also not here. So yeah, whatever. So we could theoretically let this continue to build and put this on our to-do while that would be MIPS64 N32 lib32 globbing. What the heck? Also maybe with dbus. Do this really soon. So this is just to see how far we get. Also, by the way, okay, we have. So what else do we have to do? We have all right, PowerPC. So we can continue, as you see. So now we continue this dbus stuff for MIPS32. Previously unnoticed because probably previously I never built so much GDK. I need more coffee. Cheers. This is, by the way, what 2 night shifts with your newborn of feeding and changing diapers do it to your brain, in case you're wondering. Also, somehow is it warm? Actually, it is sunny day in Germany. And what do? We only sit here live on YouTube and fixing our exotic architecture stuff. Yeah, it's sunny here. Anyway, I hope it's only sunny and not some other virus. Anyway, so what else? So PowerPC. Very theoretically, you see we don't have here the most load as we have here some CPU cycles to spare. Let's build more stuff because historically we had PowerPC 32-bit and PowerPC 64-bit due to mostly, and so unlike other distributions which often have already defaulted to 32-bit for a little bit more performance, we always wanted on SPARC64 and PowerPC 64. When we have 64, then I wanted 64. However, mostly recently with the PS3 fame here on these channels, only due to that, with the very limited memory and performance, I actually changed that to 32-bit. That leaves us with the problem is then the PowerPC 64-bit is relatively similar. It's only building GCC and bin utils with 64-bit support and the 64-bit kernel. All the other user space should, mostly be the same as the old-fashioned PowerPC 32-bit. That means we don't test the 64-bit code path for PowerPC 64. However, PowerPC 64 LE, recently a viewer said, here, patch, by the way, which we also previous video cleaned up here a little bit. For PowerPC 64 Little Endian, the new Little Endian stuff of Power 9 fame. So let's do that too. Just mostly to test, for example, this Firefox stuff, because otherwise PowerPC also could also segmentation fault, because maybe, well, not the most supported PowerPC in general stuff, but I also wonder whether MIPS, because MIPS can be B-endian, some embedded stuff, Little Endian, the old-fashioned SGI and other stuff, Big Endian. I wonder if Firefox will work at all, or randomly segmentation fault, or randomly or already at startup anyway. But this is why we do this stuff. So yeah, PowerPC is just to test the 64-bit code path, because where is even, so here is that building, Yeah, do we still have this Firefox PowerPC? No, we don't. So also, by the way, maybe I need to disable tempfs. So yeah, we are approaching really soon to do here also this tempfs and other config stuff sometime soon. Let's build config. Also, yeah, how many config can you possibly have? Yeah, we counted this already the other day. Really, really many. What is this? My typing degrades here also faster than we can YouTube live stream job. Oh, where it's probably automatically continuing with Firefox. So I built this again. Also, okay, now anyway, the recently added tmarks is over in just some fractions of a second. Just rebuild this again to have the same errors, and we need to grab. Do we still have this here? libBSS, maybe. Of course we don't. What did I even Google? Firefox PowerPC BSS. Yeah, no. The problem is, now this was slightly stupid, as we usually do here. What was it? PLT or something. It was M, or maybe we find this with info. Also, by the way, how's the stream lagging with this massively increasing load? No, still somehow today better. BSS, this was MBSS or something, or PLT. No. Oh, not info. Was it? Probably GCC, yeah. BSS, what do we have here? In BSS, nuclear, BSS PLT. So here we have something. What does it even do? I have no idea, because only big projects, $500 million projects, can generate such amazing build errors. Where is it even? Hello. Generate code that uses BSS PLT section that LDSO fills in and requires PLT and GOT sections that are both writable and executable. This is a PowerPC 32, this 5 ABI option. So I can only guess that so too warm with arms, too cold without. I can only guess that I've never seen such a build error. So here we probably want secure PLT stuff. Yeah, anyway, we really urgently. Anyway, more videos, microkernel and viability of commercial kernel development stuff coming up soon on the main channel. Let's go into Firefox here and grab. I can only imagine, because I've never seen this build error. What I've seen is some big projects do we still build PowerPC? Yeah, with some toxing. So we have here toc something of, yeah, if PowerPC64, we need here minimal toc stuff, because this also has overflown some toxing. But we're not building, actually, you know what? We actually, that is interesting. That might actually be the issue. Let's try this before we waste too many CPU cycles with that. Because the issue is, where was this now? Was it in CMonkey? Mozilla toc. This somehow happened only in large stuff. So the problem is, maybe this because we're defaulting to 32 bits. So maybe we actually, you know what, we could. We cleaned this already. This was not smart. Maybe does it have arch target in any case, even in native builds? Arch machine, probably it should, huh? Architecture, PowerPC, parse config. Hello, parse config. Oh, that's PowerPC64, obviously. Parse config. So we reset here arch machine and stuff. So we probably do this always. So probably instead of checking the config option, which is here like PowerPC64_32, it's probably way more elegant to check this arch prefix because we dynamically change this and we don't need to additionally check this config option. Otherwise we would have here 2 checks if PowerPC64 ends this option, so probably better to check arch PowerPC64 stuff. Let's see if that already changes this thing. And package, let's grab for this minimal tox thing, although it's only a best guess, but in general you see we had here a couple of other big packages that needed that. We should however think about that we change all of those also. But yeah, let's test this, and this is also why I started this PowerPC64 little onion builds there. Also, yeah, this some builds failed with this mine thing. I need to check this also. Make diff, but this also in previous times didn't fail. But for now, I'm interested in Firefox today. But just a testament of how much stuff can constantly get broken off mine. Log also here our own package manager. Maybe I should rewrite this in Lua or stuff anyway. Sometime soon. We are not using much of these features anymore anyway. So yeah, this is altering this arch target stuff. Yeah, actually while we wait for this, we have a couple of builds to wait for, naturally. Also, yeah, our load also not too bad here in terms of load. Yeah, only 20. Set standard. Let's see if they have RISC-V support. In the meantime, set standard. Or maybe our tar support is ready. Download. Mirror F Firefox. That was, what is the latest version? 80 something, right? 80 maybe is this or. Just interested if they already added RISC-V support. Otherwise, this kind of stuff are those low-hanging fruits of if you want some open source fame. I mean, theoretically, as you see all the hard work of 20 years of keeping all the stuff bootstrapping, cross-compiling and nicely sorted, very few people care about. Are we also extracting this? But probably we are. Hopefully we are. Firefox, and here we are. So 2 pro tips for those who randomly watch this random live streams. Better stuff to become rich faster than ourselves, except not paying taxes like other orange people. But otherwise, security research, right? Although it's a little bit, first of all, you need to be somewhat good. If you're not halfway good in programming, you probably don't find too many security vulnerabilities. Although a lot of software is so bad that maybe if you're not very good in programming, you might still catch some. But additionally, it's also a little bit of luck of, yeah, you need to sometimes maybe work, especially with nowadays with hundreds of mitigations of non-executable stack and stuff and everything and sandboxing and randomized addresses and user space and kernel and everything. So especially exploiting them, like to earn like 100,000 of Firefox or Apple or Google, Microsoft money, it might take, so it's not like you sit 5 minutes and earn 100,000, which also maybe I should sometimes do this a little bit, maybe to earn 100,000 here and there. But otherwise, because especially exploiting this, right? It's an exploit chain, and Safari WebKit sometimes like wiring up 10 bucks. Also, yeah, how often, first of all, every month people find this and then like they need 10 bucks of escaping sandbox escape and this and that in JavaScript. So yeah, it's certainly not the easiest, but potentially working on stuff like a couple of months and then working in 100,000 might be a viable option. And the other thing is, if you don't want that, some stuff might be like, at least not as in making money, but getting some open source fame. Do low-hanging fruits, like we somehow don't do the low-hanging fruits, we always do the complicated broken build system stuff and for stuff that nobody cares about anymore, like MIPS and SPARC and PowerPC and Alpha and Intenio and stuff. But at least if you want to have like get known low-hanging stuff like, does Firefox have RISC-V support? It might be easy, certainly not writing a JIT compiler, which is bigger stuff, but just like maybe patching like 10 files, like a configure, like this Python, and like spending like maybe some hours if you're lucky and getting it built in RISC-V and send it upstream of like, hey, being the person who maybe this is what I wanted to check now. Do we have here RISC? Grab RE RISC-V. Do they have already RISC-V? Maybe to do here something more modern. Oh, what do I do today, man? They have here already some RISC-V. Is this even in? This is Crane Lift. Okay, this is a third party. What we need is common platform. So maybe they started to. Oh, no, this is not. This is broadly. Oh, there's so much to that. But toolchain. Maybe they indeed mods built. So probably they might have RISC-V support in the latest version. So much to that idea. But anyway, you probably got the idea. So let's see what are the supported architectures. So check output, config sub is different. So ARch64, ARM v7, x86, SPARC version 9. Where is this? Oh, this is even all we have, but we have here Dragonfly, so PowerPCLE, so this is even supported. So also MIPS and MIPS-L. So good. So then we are lucky that this has a chance of not randomly segmentation faulting. Does it even have RISC-V already? Wait a second, it's not. It does not have RISC-V here. Is 5 IFC. They have it here a little bit, but somehow. So this looks like Rust, though. Why is here? So yeah, somehow it's a little bit in here, but not fully. Maybe they share this file with something else. Maybe this is also used for Rust, I have no idea. It's because it's not in the list of other platforms here, so I think it's not fully in there. It's like maybe a little bit, but not like fully YOLO'd in, I guess, maybe. Anyway, we should probably get our FPGA out and synthesize some more 100 megahertz of real Linux capable system with MMU and higher performance than Pico RV32. So yeah, some stuff compiling. Okay, this fails again. This was what we were waiting for. That would be built PowerPC. PowerPC. What did we even? Oh, by the way, what did I even build? What was with the? No, I don't even remember what was with the 32-bit build. What did we got here? Of course, there's errors also. Maybe it's the same error though. Yeah, it's the same error. So yeah, then this was a good guess. But anyway, this talk thing, you see there are so many combinations. There's always like this is imperfect. This should theoretically not be like that, but it's what do I? Did I not? Did I modify? Which file did we VI here? Did we not PowerPC64 tempfs? What did I tempfs then? Maybe this? No. No. Maybe this. Anyway, then let's unfortunately do that again, because you can never waste too many electrons rebuilding stuff. So yeah, SPARC64 build. I'm a little bit curious. So yeah, we have, yeah, even their linker, we certainly not forgotten. Mr. Bong says, if you want to do something secure, just do it offline. Well, honestly, it shouldn't be like this, right? I mean, if the whole infrastructure wouldn't be as broken as security vulnerabilities all over the place, from network stacks to libset compression and other, theoretically, it should be possible to build stuff like pretty close to 100%. I mean, we also built nuclear power plants that usually didn't explode the most, so just an example, like complex exploding stuff can be done so in a way that it isn't that insecure right now. So source, let's go in here already. Let's not wait for the build. It's starting to build, and while it's building in parallel. Multitasking, let's also, we probably don't need case sensitive. Let's see if they add this here somewhere. This is why this is, we already get this in the config log here. What? Why do we get this in unsupported? This is bizarre. Why would we get this in the configure? I mean, but this is, I guess they add there something. Maybe they don't add BSS PLT, but maybe something similar like this. Because all our other system, like from the Linux kernel to setlib X11, like everything built to Firefox. And also, yeah, don't stop doing random trickery stuff like elf hacks and others. Like you see, whatever exotic stuff you do, it will break. Especially if nobody tests this for a decade or something. Let's see, config, so this is an object dir. Let's see if we are so lucky that this MS. Okay, this is SSE, obviously not. Why does it even test this? It's hilarious. BSS. What does it run here? Does it have checking for TLS? So it's running GNU something, exception, math error, pthread. Here, it's probably no executable stack. I guess it's this one. I'm not, or actually additionally it could be two things. It's also using the gold linker, but I guess it's using this. It's because we saw there this, yeah. Does it probably test for this, right? So my best guess, as usual, can never be sure until you test it, but what do we, so yeah, it's doing there something, and we need new coffee. Old, so is it like always adding this? Apparently, huh? It looks, or actually it could be conditionalized. Let's see, old configure of, oh shit. Is it stack or, what was it even? Oops. Here we have it. No executable stack. Let's see what we get here. GNU GCC checking for option. So it's checking for that. Well, it also, well, it compiles but may not link, right? Do we have this in the log? Let's, oops. So probably it should just work if we don't have a, well, certainly security and security. Mr. Bonk 500 asks, do you hear about the Windows XP source code leak? Yeah, obviously I heard about this. I didn't download it myself. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Leave me in the comments below if I should, but honestly, don't want to be with one foot in jail. Back in the days, this is not the first source code leak, right? There was a Windows NT. Also, once upon a time, I knew someone who had this. This is like really long time ago, like 15 or like, yeah, like 15 years ago, there was Windows NT 4 or something source code leak. Once upon a time, well, maybe, anyway, but whatever. It's not the most interesting because, in my opinion, the Microsoft Windows source code stuff is some written in a style that I don't like. It's really like really old-fashioned C++ stuff that so it's not value for me anyway. But Mr. Bong writes they got it fully built from the leaked source code. Yeah, maybe not everything, but I saw this on Twitter and so on. That you know what? Maybe we just modify the cache thing here too. At least some Windows Server 2003 or so I saw on Twitter. So do they have a cache for But again, I rather do, you see, I spent already way too much of my valuable time here on getting Firefox built for all the exotic architectures that in my opinion just freaking build. So they don't have here, do they have a cache thing? Apparently they don't have a cache thing for this, or do they? Checking for, usually they also don't have, or what I wanted to say is I should rather do like, because it's old-fashioned, like it's really crappy code. I mean, it's so crappy. Windows has the most security vulnerabilities of all systems out there, of garish quality, 80 style code, and this is exactly what I don't need. So I would rather, it gives me nothing, right? I would rather. Mr. Wong writes the source tree is complete enough. Yeah, but the source code, as far as I've seen from photos, the source code leak also includes Windows XP, a lot of Windows, so it's not necessarily that all the Windowses and all the whatever else, I don't know if there was Internet Explorer or other stuff. As far as I know, one person only built Windows 2003, so it's not necessarily that all the other products that may or Windows variants are in there that are also complete. So yeah, this is also my opinion how it should not be done. Is this stuff should have an option. It should have a cache thing, which it probably doesn't. So cache stuff. What we could do is substitute that away for at least PowerPC, and yeah, but again, but write to me, is it of interest for you, or why is it interesting for you, and what is interesting for you there. PowerPC, Arch Machine, and if PowerPC, so that would be that, then PowerPC that without 64, then maybe both, but we don't know yet. Var append gcc wrapper remove. I hope that is enough. We could theoretically also, there was another one, like no executable stack, probably 2AS and L. Okay, the question LD. Nah. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe it's calling the assembler directly with it. But let's see what happens. Maybe they don't have much assembly code for PowerPC in there anyway. 1000 prop frames because failing docks cable garbage. Mr. Bong finds it funny that the source tree is combined at up to 13 GB uncompressed. What? There is something. Oh, you mean Gentoo on and the other? No, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, for me, I mean, most people don't want to run Windows because bugs and stuff and so on. Also, why does flag fail now? Adding symbol file in wrong format. What is it trying to do here now? Lib flag off libm, so it's apparently using the wrong. What do we have here? Do we have libm remove whatever? Yeah, also yeah, work on whatever crazy random stuff. It's like yeah. Yeah, flag, okay, fine. Can live with it for now. The Octane, also I think it previously built, but Mr. Bonk means Windows, in which context to, I understood 13 gigabyte, but anyway, just didn't quite think I got everything except why 13 gigabyte is funny. Here also Power PC. There's something, what does this make? Dev cannot run test program by cross-compiling. This also was working for a very long time. I really wonder why this fails now. But yeah, welcome to my life. It builds for a long time until it starts failing. You only fix stuff and eventually you fix enough that stuff fails. I also need more coffee. Let's see what happens there. Career, that's a good time to fill up our coffee. Winter time is the best time for some virus pandemic. Welcome to this autumn. Mr. Wong says it could help the Rectus people making it more compatible. Yeah, but on the other hand, you can get sued, right? So normally it's not clean room reverse engineering anymore. So in general, this is not recommended at all to look at such kind of leaked source code. Oops, much too hate cleaning my keyboard live on YouTube. Crumbs and hairs and stuff. So not recommended for that reason. So usually you shouldn't do that. Then it's not legally proof anymore anyway. Unless you like lawsuits and stuff anyway. But anyway, the whole APIs suck enormously, so super annoying, like old-fashioned 16-bit DOS Windows style. Win32 certainly not that much, even like mouse cursors in first parameter, high-low, 16-bit, high-low register AX or whatever that was. Mr. Wong says all you need to do is not bluntly copy the code verbatim. I and most lawyers will probably not agree with him if they can prove that you could like not easily find it out otherwise, and most likely this is too close to the source code. So in general, most experts, especially I think what the American like US lawsuits of reverse engineering PC BIOSes has shown, that you need like a real clean room engineering to have this legally sound. But I'm not a lawyer, and you probably want to consult a lawyer. But I'm not interested in this garbage kind of code quality stuff that is Windows. So I could actually not care less. So this is still unfortunately happening. Maybe we don't remove this enough, or which is it even? So the question is, so this is our MIPS64. So which is it even? This is NSPR something. The question is if we should compile the glibc differently or so to support this. There are two more things. So one, the question is, did it have some effect? As always, you add some code and it might not even work. What Mr. Wong writes, what he means is to aid the reverse engineering process. Yeah, again, you are in as far as I understand most legal experts' opinion on this. You're on slippery slope territory. Better is not to look at such code at all. Otherwise, it's a hairy thing to. Did this have some effect or not? What we probably should be able to see this in this config stuff. So less, I think this it was in here of exception executable. Well, now this probably works. Or does it? Or okay, this is atomic, so this might need libatomic, but it's apparently not even the issue. So I guess, although the other thing is we could theoretically substitute this to something failing, like substituting this to no exec stack not available. So that, or like dash dash fail or something, that we don't even have this in there. I think we substitute this away because we don't get an error. I think previously we got an error already. The question is only, as we still get this, either I do yes wrong stuff, like not looking at the right place. I also MIPS needed to disable that. We could also try, because it's using the gold linker, we could try if this just randomly trying if PowerPC stuff disabling gold. Let's, you know what, this is a little bit exotic. Let's maybe try if this shit's the same or not. Yeah, but sometimes this needs a little bit trial and error. Otherwise, we might not have an AS wrapper, an assembler wrapper, because it's not often that stuff. Do we have AS, maybe not GCC wrapper or GAS? No, so yeah, 2 decades later probably never needed a assembler wrapper until now, if we wanted to substitute this. We could also, however, actually we could patch just to, because as I said, best practice would be to have an option or have also configure cache thing, but we could simply patch this configure to introduce an intentional typo so that this check fails, or like substitute here that it's trying to test something with a typo, then it fails, and then it doesn't take this code path, or just comments this out to false. So maybe actually commenting this or changing this to false is a better way to go than it doesn't have. It's less misleading what the intention was. So we probably also have some updates. Why do we? there is it. Amazingly, as usual, we have some people watching, which is as you also the wrong thing. What I wanted Thunderbird and let's see. Yeah, but I need to really free more of my time. Here we have some GNOME stuff and AP lib, but we really need more people contributing and more data and lore doing their thing. So Xorg server, we are MIPS64 soon approaching Firefox. Let's see, I'm really curious what. Unfortunately, each of those test builds probably, did it take? Probably 6 minutes. We can also check that. Port PC6432 var ADM package Firefox. So we build usually, okay, not that long, only 3.5 min. Oh wait, did this build longer? No. Also depending on other background load, but probably shouldn't take too long to. That's it. Mr. Bong says it's stupid using spaces for indentation. Stupid just use tabs. I some sort of agree. It's certainly I use a mix. Although I understand the argument. I would say it's totally stupid to use spaces for control flow stuff like Python. That is completely stupid. Like so stupid. I really can't say. Also, copy and paste, and you need to re-ident, and it's like hilarious. And then you don't like the indentation style. I see the point of only using tabs. I personally don't use this. The cool thing of only using tabs, fully understand and agree, is that you can, each person who likes another ident width can just change it in the editor of tab width to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, 11, 12, 16, or other crazy stuff. If you want to discourage people to write a lot of block scoping, then just make your indentation with 16 or something. But yeah, this is the cool thing of just using tabs, but very few people do this. I personally use tabs the normal way of tab with 8 and also ident with spaces. Maybe, but this is, you would wonder that, but there also people disagree, right? I wanted to say you would wonder that after 60 years of computer science, or 60 plus minus, give or take a couple of decades, there would be standard for this. Well, standard and standard, right? But personal preferences. But it's also, there you see some people maybe love this Python kind of control flow, block scoping stuff with indentation. I find it personally completely annoying. But yeah, I probably could carry the SG Octane over here. The question is, the problem is, I wanted to test something anyway, right? SGI Octane testing, anyone? Didn't test this yet on the Octane. Our precious collectible accumulating stuff here. Anyway, if anyone in the audience has some cheap, affordable industrial Abadan complex for sale that I can buy, so yeah, looking for industrial Abadan complex stuff to make an amazing hacking headquarter. Only problem is not much abundant stuff left in Berlin or other areas, and this is still building surprisingly long. No, what did it error? No, it errors. Did it error the same of? It's still okay. So gold linker. So we're probably not. Anyway, it didn't have the effects. So. Or did I? Oh shit, I looked in the right... this was so stupid, we looked into the wrong file. Only live on this channel via ADM. Shouldn't press. So what a fail. Sometimes we have a fail, did it? What a fail. Wasted CPU cycles. What does Mr. Wong VI config tab with set to 8? Yeah, but 8 is the default or not? Identation wise, I find 8. So you ident everything 8. I find this a little bit much. But for Lua, I use something crazy. Some people, maybe even the Lua JIT author, disagrees with that. Let's see, mix of apps activity. Maybe it has. So for Lua, I use 3, which is maybe. So I certainly have seen 3 at someone else. 3 is actually not bad. So 3 is really crazy. I don't use. The fun fact is I don't use 3 for anything else, only for Lua. And what is it matches here like end or so. I mean, it's somehow, or like if wait a second, if, so like if something, but even if you argue, I know it's a little bit controversial, but it matches here like if something, but like if space, then it's like 3, but it doesn't match for 4 anyway. But I find 3 rather pleasant. But what we do in T2, or what I do in T2 is save, no, modified, yes. In T2 we usually use 4 with like tab with anything else. By the way, anything tab with not 8 is crazy, which is funny anecdote. Apple's Xcode stuff is also cannot compile, a little endiness, whatever. I think we probably don't need this anyway. 32. Apple's Xcode is defaulting to tab with 4, which is totally hilarious. It's the first thing I always change. Maybe it's some historic Mac OS 80 stuff. Leave me in the comments below if you know why. But this is also really crazy. It's also all the open source stuff, or our stuff and other open source stuff, you open in Xcode and it's like indented like garbage. All this like Apple usability, attention to details, not. It's hilarious that people use this insane system. But leave in the comments below what you think. I wanted to say for T2 stuff we use like 4, which I think is quite reasonable for shell, or yeah, actually 8 or 4. I find 8 tabs here. This is, for example, this is all 8 tabs here. But what I usually do is if I need some scoping, like not because I find it somewhat annoying if you just add some new stuff to re-indent everything. So what I usually do is 8 or 4, and then if there is new conditional stuff needed, I add it here in between with 4 or then 2. Because if you re-indent everything, the problem is that subversion git blame is all the re-indented code becomes changed in that revision, which is, in my opinion, polluting the history quite a bit. Another thing is, so of all things, alpha I built quite well. What do we have to create? Overnight, obviously, started last, also best without alpha typo. glib, what is glib doing there? Oh, this was some really stupid stuff. But yeah, minimal build wouldn't have this. So if we just wanted a minimal build without, actually no, we need glib for package config anyway. But you see, the more what I wanted to say, the more stuff we add, like glib, xorg, and certainly now with Mesa and Firefox, the more stuff fails, and the more we need to fix stuff and sit here day and night. Glib of what crazy stuff is that? Ah, right, this was statx of new system calls, not statx on alpha. Yeah, always using latest greatest. Yeah. Anyway, a little bit of a showstopper. Need to invest some time of YOLOing stuff there together. But Intanium fails. I really don't remember quite. I think I somehow YOLOed Intanium. The problem is with my own. Some people criticize of this YouTube. I should just write textual blog posts, but the problem is I've done this a little bit. The problem is not this, but this. The problem is, of course, good old-fashioned blog post stuff. Very few people read, and certainly I make more money with YouTube videos, which is a whopping $3 a day still, than with the blog post stuff. So yeah, because the problem, of course I understand now. I have the problem myself. I think I somehow got Intanium stuff to build, and in some video, like convoluted 3 hours of this randomly compiling everything stuff, and now I don't even know what anymore. So that is really an issue now. It fails, but maybe this is a new GCC regression or ADM log. Yeah, it already fails GCC bootstrap. It was already the last time. The last time I committed here GCC IA64. Here, this here. So normally disable shared in the tool chain. This enable shared fix something. But now it fails with lib unwind, which it wants for. Yeah, also all the other architectures built, but only for Intanium, it somehow wants lib unwind for exception handling and stuff. I really wonder why the architectures need to be so different that all the others built in Intanium fails with lib unwind. Let's see what if we disable shared, if this fixes now something. But the last time we tried, it wanted shared for whatever. Mr. Bonk asked, does T2 support 68K? Yes, of course. And it even freaking builds and works, which, by the way, fun fact, theoretically, we don't have too many spare CPU cycles, but what the heck, 68K. Someone in the audience, maybe Glaucus 68, what did I use as? Do we not have a 68K here? Maybe not. Do we use this? Probably, huh? Someone even test built this and sent in some patches, which is always amazing. And you can do so too, not only build and play along at home, but send patches. That is always the most amazing. And let's double check that. Also has this Firefox. I have the feeling it builds longer now, but let's see. Is this? Yeah, we could theoretically, not that we would have any of those, but let's optimize for this in case we ever get 68K30. LTO, of course, LTO, cross-compiled, smart. What did we copy that it showed the export options? Tempfs, probably PowerPC, huh? But yeah, someday I probably so would like a sharp 68K or 30. That would be so cool. It certainly doesn't support Linux, but cool system nonetheless. So yeah, let's massively test, because we never fixed as much as we fix now and can never test enough. What did this IA? What this freaking build now? What? Can't make this stuff up. The last time we needed this, no, we don't need this anymore. I mean, that is certainly an easy fix, and even a 64 and whatever IA. Yeah, leave me in the comments below what systems we should get. Should I get Intanium? Should I get Motorola 68K? Should we get everything, or do we have enough? Yeah, I know Mr. Bonk says NetBSD runs on 68. X68000. Well, only on X68030, because it needs a memory management unit. The previous systems didn't have an MMU. I'm certainly aware of that, but the problem is you mostly find the earlier non-MMU X68K, and these are super expensive, easily 600 if not $1,000 or euro, because they didn't sell outside of Japan. And then I would need to import, like auction in Japan, and import for $600 probably minimum, and I'm currently not feeling the most experimental to import something for $600 in some unknown state of and break it in shipping and customs. And yeah, the problem is also if you ship it with this buy or buy in Japan stuff, and not a paid advertisement, but this proxies to handle this stuff, because dealing with direct Japanese stuff certainly not the most easy experience. And then you usually end up paying customs, right? With private people, they can write on the custom stuff like cheating a little bit, like rich billionaire, like rich orange billionaires would do. Like, hey, you auction it for 600, but on the customs form, you put like it's a gift or something, or private gift of old vintage computer stuff of zero value. But if you ship it with buy from Japan stuff, then they usually fill it out accurately. So if you auction it for 600 or even $800,000 stuff, they usually put it there, and then you end up paying import custom duties there on this stuff, which another 200 euro maybe easily, or plus minus whatever, something. So anyway, Mr. Bong thinks we should get a VEX-based system. I don't really think so, but also, yeah, Intanium, Motorola 68K. So we this was an easy fix. Didn't expect this. Of all things, the last time it was a pain. So I moved also some code here, which probably should be fine. Maybe not. No. So you see 60 changes. Probably would take another live stream or now or later to sort this stuff. Does also Firefox, you know what Firefox built now? The problem is, so here we cross-compiled a PowerPC thing. So maybe it was GoldLinker though that somehow YOLO'd that. I wonder, we should actually test. So this was gold, and by the way, I find also stupid that this I recently only found out. I wanted to match two things, and this pattern match thing didn't support two. I wonder if there's a way to do this. What else did we, or did I, let's see, did I remove already this sea monkey of come on. Not sea monkey, but Mozilla. Yeah, so we still have this code in here, and I wonder if we need this. So that is, of course, let's comment this out and unfortunately build it again, because we should actually, yeah, we shouldn't commit there like two things of maybe only one needed. So we should know for sure if just using the non-gold linker, the classic linker, or well, that alone didn't work anyway, so maybe actually it was the gold linker stuff that complains there. I wonder if it even works, and could also be not using the gold linker of just linking it together, and yeah, or maybe the non-gold linker ignores this, I don't know, and it works accidentally, and then it doesn't have no non-executable stack, but yeah, who knows. Anyway, Mr. Wong always has really many questions. If I find non-x86 based CISC architectures to be useful, well, I didn't have an Amiga or other high-performance 68K system and didn't write that much CISC code. But from an instruction set architecture design perspective, I find RISC rather like RISC clear load register store architecture much more clean, and also starting to write a JIT compiler. I find generating load register operand store code, generating that much easier, and RISC-V is a pretty clean architecture. So from all these points of view, I wouldn't really miss any CISC if we talk CISC of having memory operands and for a compiler, for auto, but even as a assembler writer, it's what benefits, better question is what benefits do you see, or I mean useful and not, it's yeah, what I'm always curious to see, to hear your opinion. So why are you so interested in CISC, or what benefits or usefulness do you see in there? From a software, well, Mr. Bong writes, from a software perspective, CISC is easier to understand. Why would you say this? I don't really agree with it, because from a software perspective, load, modify, store is much easier to understand. Mixing this of memory references in instructions is, in my opinion, less easy to understand. If you just have load memory to registers, do your stuff and store it back, it's much easier, especially if you then, usually you have only one memory reference, and then you have one memory reference, one register, and then why not have load and store? Although certainly I understand the complex instructions, such stuff shouldn't become too complex, but if you, from a software understanding, is if you have already one, like CISC, one memory reference, why don't you have two? Why do you have to do half of the stuff on registers? Anyway, I mean, risk is, people say drop frames. Yeah, probably drop frames is, well, dropping frames right now, not too many though, only 1000, 0.7% with 4.5 Mbit, that is not too much. Right now, probably the massive compilation load here is maybe more of a thing. Let's maybe start to commit some code. We have here, well, we still have some stuff to do, but it also, yeah, if this thumbnail user is slow, this is due to the high load, right? It's not once upon a time. So we also, sensors, also only see 100 amps of, it's not the highest load. Why is it not the highest load? Yeah, also 48, maybe V50. Maybe it's too much context switching. Actually, maybe because of the high load, we have more scheduler switching. I wonder also if the load, if this would become more efficient if we would nice this. At least a decade ago, the compiler, not compiler, the Linux scheduler. Fun fact, if you nice stuff, a decade ago, there was a patch like 2005, 6 or something, that non-interactive stuff, like nice stuff in the background, had longer scheduler slices, right? Because this compile stuff is more longer running. You don't need to context switch so often, and the less context for like interactive desktop workloads, the less context switching you do in the scheduler, the less you trash the cache and, or in general have interrupts and kernel to kernel switching and so on. Also this, I think this just probably did it. And let's target, what did we build here? Bosses, IA. So let's nice all of this. Yeah, also nice was nice. What else do we have? This is our Firefox. This is, let's nice this also too. So not only could this, maybe I should always run this niced. Maybe I should even have a option in there to maybe even do this by default, because it's a little bit annoying to always type here nice. Also maybe, yeah, maybe not exotic stuff that is unexpected. Maybe just run, maybe I should just get used to nice this. Not only, I should actually, probably, actually we should benchmark this, right? Either reading the source is a little bit difficult, the Linux sources, yeah, not the super most easy to read C code and then scheduler and stuff. But maybe simply benchmark this, running it nice or not nice, and see if the performance improve. It could also theoretically maybe fix a little bit of our OBS load stuff. Also renicing OBS for some, yeah, also Linux scheduler, right? In 2020, renicing, you would think of renicing this to -12 or whatever of OBS stuff should give this better interactive real-time scheduling, but nah. 32 threads are not enough for this single address space. monolithic kernel did we? This is GCC, so let's, we're waiting for that. That is it, yeah, waiting for this, so let's rename this. So then I grab, how are we doing here are we still, okay, this might be now running more in the background, so it's certainly now some like MIPS builds are not processing as much because maybe they are due to the not as high scheduling priority. Anyway, but then we take the sun out later this afternoon, hopefully test. So should we test, what should we test first? Does Firefox start and not segmentation fault on Spark, or Spark Sun Blade 1000, or SG Octane? Leave me in the comments below. And, yeah, 100 Ms. Usually, yeah, load 53. Certainly, yeah. Probably it's time for a freaking epic thread ripping, like real thread ripper. 5000. I also, by the way, fun fact, AMD changes the SKUs. What I always said is confusing with the mobile stuff. 1000 number higher of being a little bit delayed. Apparently, they, for marketing reason, also adopt this now. So that's the next Threadripper, and Ryzen might be 5000 instead of 4000 to potentially get this in line with the confusing mobile SKU. So it didn't confuse only us, but also everyone else, obviously. Can be also, yeah, stuff compiling long. What do we? So yeah, let's Control-C that and nice that Motorola 68K. Did we hit nice this? So this was nice. Then PowerPC64 LE. This is our Firefox build. Yeah, so I guess this scheduling works. So this nice stuff is running in the background. And once upon a time, if you have insight in Linux scheduler stuff, leave in the comments below. But at least it's running slower, which theoretically it should do. And then probably OBS. Of course, it's not yet proven whether it gives the scheduler gives this stuff a longer time slices, which I thought was a neat idea in 2005 or 6 or whenever that was new. Intanium still building there. VM, probably this. Oh wait, this is not Intanium, this is PowerPC, yeah. Probably, yeah, Octane. The desk is also full. Probably I need to can start sorting the desk, so broken plastic pieces from the SJ02. And also SD, also the Pine phone. Why is my desk always the desk? And it only takes one day. Also here, engineer, leave it. My wife is always like, "Why is your stuff here so chaotic?" It's like, hey, for computer science stuff, this is actually, look in other offices. I think our office here is like at least twice as sorted than a lot of engineering stuff. But somehow each time I get my desk free and nicely sorted, then it only takes 24 hours for the desk to be already fully cluttered with SGI vintage gear and garbage SD card readers and adapters and cables. And yeah, also my wife, why is your desk so cluttered? It's like, yeah, also garbage iPhone cables, because I previous video had to copy all your iPhone photos, right? And anyway. The Graver said probably you want to check BIOS updates. So recently there was an Ageza update to improve memory performance and inter-core stuff. Yeah, that is cool. I saw this, but well, I saw maybe someone from, was it? Yeah, some Linux developer. But do you know if this affects? It wasn't clear to me. There was a post below this. Which Zen version is it? Zen 3 or Zen 2? The Graver says, want to try other schedulers? No, not really. Thanks for that. I think even Phoronix tested this, and maybe the scheduler was not necessarily the most performance. Also, I will probably not spend more. This is already, as you see, even just getting all this freaking stuff to build is way more time than I should. Also, why is nothing progressing here? Maybe too much load. Want to see this result? I rather do my microkernel really seriously. Otherwise, it stays for decades vaporware, and we can't allow that. Do you know? So, did you test this? Did it improve stuff? The Ageza stuff. So, other schedulers, nah, whatever. The kernel, we rather do our scheduler. But the Ageza stuff sounds interesting. We probably really should give this a try. I've not made a video. We are so huge backlog, as you see, no AAA videos. we now rock for those fans here on the mod channel. We are now rocking a X7030 workstation board here, which is by the way much better. So this is was it Ace? Not sure. Probably this. I guess. I think so. Should be this. Do they have an update for that? Maybe there. So yeah, did you try this? Is it for Zen 2 or only for Zen 3? Manual documents driver. Are BIOSes below? Select OS. What others? I want a BIOS. Is it this one? So which AGESA update should that be? We could also AGESA is it what was September inter-core memory? But yeah, shout out this board is much more stable. So of course the mini IT export previous build video also was stable if I didn't overclock the memory. But so this board I run obviously for memory performance, right? So the 64 gigabyte in 32 gigabyte module, the largest consumer memory. You have the X570 selected. Oh no, what do you mean X500? Yeah, this is what we have here. Maybe I misspoke that. But is this is it this or is it another AGESA? Source code? Realtek management controller firmware? There is a source code? What the heck? Seriously? Interesting. Somehow, why are we not making progress here with this stuff? Can we also, does this stuff really take so long to build, or what's happening here? PowerPC 64, oops, wrong. LE, var ADM, logs out, just see something. It's building something though. Now it's finished building. So finally, so yeah, then it's your gold fixer, yeah, hello, whatever. At least doing something. Then arbitrary code execution, amazing stuff. So yeah, then let's continue this. Nice. And so yeah, this also to be nice soon. And so yeah, I'm surprised here's some management firmware stuff, though, whatever that is doing. Anyway, we wanted to enter which AGESA combo firmware for Bessart intercore latency. So the question is for what? New firmware, APUs and processors, Renoir and Matisse. You can latency and bandwidth, Horizon 3000, improve core-to-core latency, and so on. So before, so from 56, so 108110. Okay, this is 080 though. So which of those? Is it only one? So if we need the .1, then our board might not yet have this though. So much to, yeah, also this stuff should be more modular, right? It's hilarious that we need to wait for BIOS vendors to get the act together, although yeah, just 2 weeks, but testing, do they have a better, actually it's BIOS and firmware, what happens here? Do they have some better seed of RTL, show all, do they have some better version? Yeah, also every, okay, there it's 12 days. So 12 days to, yeah, maybe, I don't know if it needs .1 or not. But what are we running? Does this DMID code on, wait a second, where do we, oh, this is still building. because obviously stuff is still building. Also, what load do we have? Probably 60, because obviously DMI decode of. So I've did I update this? So yeah, X570. So yeah, this board performance didn't improve that much, but we can overclock the memory. The previously X470 mini ITX board, I could overclock the memory a little bit. If I overclocked the memory a little bit more, then it would be unstable, as seen on some live streams crashed, which I later found were due to too much memory overclock. Also, fun fact, I probably wouldn't recommend it the most if you want a real, like, unlike the big YouTubers, Linus and Gamers Nexus, like overclockings, like, yeah, whatever, not also their Bauer here and stuff. Also, fun fact, should we rename our channel either Code Therapy or Der Coder? But although Der Bauer, Der Coder, maybe a little bit, but anyway, would that be cool? Would that not be cool? Leave in the comments below. But yeah, not recommended for pro use. I wasted way too many hours of random crashes of memory overclock and stuff. Not really worth it. Although, yeah, so this is slightly overclocked CPU, tiny little bit, memory tiny little bit, but let's see. ASUS is the BIOS. So where's the version of 1302? Is it one? When did I got this board? Did I even update the? Not sure. Did I update the BIOS or not? I'm not even entirely sure. Did I update the BIOS out of the box or? Can we maybe we can also demask of. What is the BIOS version here of? BIOS 1302. Probably we want to update this for some potential extra performance, I guess, sometime soon. The only really annoying thing what I learned on the other board is also probably, so that is, yeah, so we just finished GCC. Let's Control C that and nice Z2, then all the builds should be nice. What I learned on the mini ITX also, yeah, all the builds are nice, and OBS, so much to Linux scheduler, OBS, like, yeah, it's hilarious. Or do we have some build not nice? Anyway, what I wanted to say is that also load average 80s, like, yeah, that's how we're doing. Certainly, obviously need some epic or thread ripping, real deal thing. So yeah, nice. So only 7. So probably, I guess everything should be nice. Sure. Yeah, user system. Yeah, everything is nice now, but it doesn't stop the Linux scheduler of not giving OBS enough. Can we have here multiple? Oh, we can. Does it fix something? No, it doesn't. No, whatever. At least we tried. So yeah, super annoying. The last time I tried this BIOS update, I had to redo all the fancy overclocking, minimal overclocking on the previous mini ITX X470. Was it X470? I guess it was. Yeah. Anyway, super annoying. It's hilarious in my opinion. This few little options. Also, yeah, previous Unix workstations, you have some nice environment and PC garbage of, like, yeah, some hidden obscure binary values of, yeah. I wish some PC vendors would copy some also, or is it? Yeah, this was, but apparently probably not, right? I mean, this would also, we have EFI variables. Imagine if all the BIOS option stuff would be stored in nice readable EFI variables. Probably it isn't. I don't want to try it now because I remember that back in the days, even reading or touching some EFI variables resulted in bricking some systems like Samsung. What were their names? Samsung laptops, whatever the name was, Series 9, Samsung Series 9, or maybe even some ThinkPads, so not touching the EFI variables. The Graver says, can't you save the settings and reapply them later? Yeah, I probably should try on some USB drive. I didn't try this. I also didn't expect, honestly, I didn't even, as a professional, like I couldn't imagine that if you just update your BIOS, all your settings are gone. This is hilarious, right? Now that we could try saving this. Also, some of the settings takes me forever to find, right? For example, some RGB stuff, I like to disable, because it's also hilarious, right? This workstation board doesn't have RGB, thankfully, because who needs this garbage? But the X470 had some Rock Gaming Strix garbage RGB stuff, and even on standby, right? I think the by default the RGB LEDs like 9 or so, well, not like 2 of 9 freaking LEDs would be on, I think, on standby or even standby, power off standby. It's hilarious. So there was an option for RGB LEDs on standby or soft power off something. It's hilarious, right? Who would want RGB LED stuff if you don't even see on the first glance if the system is on or off? It's hilarious. Anyway, and it took me 5 minutes, and maybe even Googling it was hidden in somewhere where it was hidden. It's hilarious. So probably we should not only update this, but maybe we certainly probably most likely get some extra performance. But we get here to some end. So we have here PowerPC 6432, 6432. That is 45 to go. Whatever, a little bit. Probably PowerPC. We had here Firefox. That probably. What do we? Power. Okay, this we don't need. And Firefox conf of gold. PowerPC star. Let's quickly pick up a phone call. So, the Graver shakes his head about RGB LEDs. So disable gold PowerPC. So let's see also that likely should because the PowerPC 32 cross-build thing was the same error. Also, we certainly need to approach a load of 100 if you some stuff a little bit lacking. That's what you get with a load of 100. Probably some really soon, like tonight or tomorrow or something. I really need to YOLO this stuff. This is hilarious that we don't have the old config. But also I'm shaking my head about the Linux scheduler. You already nice here, all the stuff, and your OBS doesn't get. Also, I mean, OBS 150% CPU time is not enough to render. I wonder, is only the thumbnail preview, is this lagging, or because not so many frames, huh? But this is monolithic address-based innovation, 30 years, and even really nice stuff to positive background stuff and negative real-time stuff, and still can't have this anyway. So I'm not even sure why did I not update the BIOS when I got this? Just some. I don't have this. How long do I have this? What months do we have? I think only for 2 or 3 months. Not even. Why did I not update the BIOS of this workstation thing? I don't really. Anyway, the Graver also is appreciating RGB LEDs as much as we do. The Graver says video appears to shop on a load. So probably then you get it as much as I get it here. But it's also hilarious. Leave in the comments below. Do you think not only should Intel on a 32 thread, 16 core, 32 threads, even with a super high load, should a modern operating system schedule that enough by default, and even if you manually renice stuff to real-time priorities and background priorities, should at least then this freaking stuff not drop rendering frames. I don't know, maybe I'm too much perfectionist for operating system research. Anyway, so yeah, stuff is building nicely. We could theoretically, so yeah, how much stuff, I should really commit this stuff soon, because yeah, 130, I just had this down to 60 changes. Also, to be fair, some of these things are LTO things, so this is like changing LTO disablement for MIPS64 again. But yeah, so probably it's time to get, was it what I wanted? 66. If we have Firefox, like some GCC, LLVM, Firefox and stuff building, probably for sure we get a load average of 100, in case you were wondering how much you can load stuff. So yeah, stuff building nicely, should really commit soon before I accidentally rm-rf or svn revert infinity or similar stuff of that. Probably time to get the Octane and the Sunblade on the table and test this stuff, rsync this stuff, and also this failed. This is stupid garbage of touch. So this, yeah, we probably MacF disk we theoretically want. PowerPC, this is just to create the bootstrap partition of var adm logs of MacF disk error of, yeah, new glibc. Of course, it's also, wait a second, this might be the wrong one. Which do we still, this is the right one, we need that one. But yeah, I also leave in the comments below this constant changes just to change stuff. Or even, maybe now we are on focus, maybe in focus. Anyway. Really annoying, but yeah. I mean, once upon a time, you could argue like, yeah, stuff like MacF disk, although probably it might be a port of Apple's open source stuff. They have some stuff open source, so maybe this is Darwin. Wait a second, this is also wrong. Shit. But you could argue that people shouldn't use proprietary, non-standard stuff, but I would argue if once upon a time it was in there, and it's not like a magnitude of cleanup, it's like tiny little functions, like just like leave this stuff in there. I mean, there's so much bloat and whatnot and garbage, and then these small little functions only causing a decade later, or decade or 2 decades later, people need to rewrite and fiddle and YOLO and stuff in there of yeah, changing stuff just to change stuff. I'm not a fan of that. So Linux bot retweeted this stuff. Live on Twitter, if you call yourself a developer and use a mouse for editing code, I just assume you're a junior. Yep, so certainly not using a mouse much here with this VI stuff. Mr. Wong says this doesn't necessarily mean the architecture is complex. Well, I didn't say this. I said registers. I basically said clearly separated load, store, and register operands, and that is probably one of the major criterias. And but as usual, continue commenting what. So, but certainly it usually should be more complex if you have, well, although it's already in the name, right? But if you have memory operands like register and or memory, probably usually it makes it already more complex. So usually if you have the same feature set and one CISC with memory operands and one RISC without, then probably the RISC should always be more simple, no? With also additional memory operand stuff in. Anyway, but yeah, why are you interested in CISC? Why do you prefer this, or what benefits do you see? So yeah, stuff is building mostly nicely. So we probably could stop here. What do we have here? We have, oh, this was we could theoretically, how much stuff is missing here of create error list of MIPS64. 64 to go. Yeah, the issue is of massively overloading our EPIC Threadripper Horizon here. Although it's a freaking 3950X, even if you load it that much, then yeah, you get to Intel Core i9 levels with this kind of load, obviously, of yeah, load average 61, 66, 62. It's like, yeah. So I'm dreaming and looking forward to Zen 3, but probably also maybe I should actually, we no, this BIOS update, you know what, let's load this already. Also I'm not really sure. I wish, do we have version 2.108? Yeah, also say the stupid version number reset. This is also hilarious. Of yeah, anyway. 1004. Wait, is here a gears update report? Wait a second, this is 2019. So we had here this, this was another. So 108, 1080. This is September 4th. Somehow they have one. Why do they have one? Yeah, this should also be more better. This should also be more and better documented. Latest update, decent overclock about 4.2 unbelievable voltage, Cinebench, core something. What is it? It's one Giza combo M4 version 2 no, successfully. Anyway, 2206. What did we even hit? 202, whatever, 13.1, is it 1.3, who knows what version that is, or if that even is accurate. So yeah, building stuff. The problem is even sorting this stuff now is, as usual, a lot of work with over 100 changes. Even GCC, we have, you know, multiple mixed things in. It's not really how I like committing stuff. I think this one was quirking Spark. If we wanted to do it super nice, we could copy and paste, or we could partially revert this. So what I usually do is then into X and then like revert half of this, like let's, for example, if we want to commit this IA64 thing first, let's do that. Oh, wait a second, this was exactly so wrong. Oh no, we saved it already because we were stupid. Anyway, yeah, let's do it again. Because anyway, whatever. So, of course, that needs to be reversed. So if we want to keep this, we need to delete this chunk, then revert that. That would be that, so then we can commit, as pro tip, as usual, commit early and often, which, yeah, 100 changes of testing, but otherwise separate the stuff of not committing two different things, also for better history and bisecting and reverting. So fixed GCC 64 again by building it without That's also hilarious. I just did this the other month to fix this. Now we need the reverse of that. So this is Spark mostly for this target thing. Wasn't also, I noticed that we had target here and target here, so this is basically double. So this is also a tiny little bit cleanup all in one. So how do we? Yeah, maybe. Darn. Target is a target or not a target. So, but this is only 2 of really many. But maybe the rest we do later. So yeah, stuff building. What else do we have here? We're mostly waiting actually. Do we have actually right now? This is quite fairly split. Maybe not even extremely fully loaded. Mostly would be nice to finish this live stream, yeah, not even 2 hours in. Finish this live stream with see whether MIPS builds on Octane or not. We probably should reach that sometime soon. Mr. Bong writes to this, yes, but simplify the assembly language. Well, how does it simplify this? It doesn't simplify this. If you only have load store with memory locations, in my opinion, it also doesn't simplify the assembly language, because now you have memory references with all the regular instructions. So otherwise you have only memory references with load store. Now you have memory references like conditional, like if memory reference or register. In my opinion, also makes the assembly language more complex. Mr. Bong is mainly interested in this due to code density. As seen previous video, RISC-V with compression is, according to other research papers, as dense as x86 or so, and especially x86, especially with as complex as x86 with all the instructions. You have instructions all between 1 byte and 16 or so, and so yeah, so much to code density. The Graver says you can get some more performance of GC by passing with build config bootstrap LTO lean to configure. And then recompiling it with Mac profile bootstrap. Yeah, we can explore this. The problem is how much does it break with our cross compiler, like Canadian cross compiler, like fully cross compiler stuff. And we can certainly explore this another day. Especially it would need to benchmark whether the compiler is faster enough for this to actually be a net benefit, not only to spend all this and then it's like 5% faster, and do we even notice this? But yeah, GCC and Clang both feature parity of bloatedness. Totally agree there. Yeah, well, theoretically we could make it a config option, right? Even enabled by default, but we will play with that another day. First, because this kind of stuff, you see, we are spending already so much time here with all this fancy options and architectures, including Motorola 68K, and I rather not only microkernel and my own, so I rather do my own JIT stuff. I've done. The problem is if we only tune and stuff, we get nothing else done, and I rather I certainly keep T2 maintained, because as with all the 100 YouTube videos, it's in such a polished state with all the architectures it never ever was before, which is super amazing and thrilling and fulfilling, and hopefully making the world a better place, that people finally have an amazing Linux and raw like vanilla sources Linux, and rather spend my time of tiny little keep it stupid simple proof of concept JIT compiler with maybe C front and other stuff, and let's see how far we get there, and like maybe similar to Java, just more amazing, like keep it stupid simple, minimal, more modern and cooler like Java kind of stuff, because as you see all the architectures and then everything fails with different stuff, would really be cool to have this as performance, hopefully as nearly as performant as C, maybe even better with better single instruction multiple data or other native instruction use. Previous videos, JIT and discussion and stuff. So yeah, MIPS64, right? So as a reminder, this is MIPS64, as hopefully soon on our Octane. Need to lift it up there. So yeah, lifting up the stuff, and also we need to unzip this download. What did we download here? This was ASUS Pro unzip test. What did I say? W works or ACE? What does it start with? Pro. Hello Pro. Workstation Z. Now this is just one capsing, and I guess it probably BIOS rename. It's also super hilarious. I saw this already the last time. By the way, I think you know what? To be honest, I think I updated the BIOS. Maybe this version number is just. I think or was it for this ASUS Mini ITX? Anyway, super hilarious, right? This renamer. Is just some Windows executable to rename this stupid file from also like a megabyte rename thing. I can't mix this stuff up. I think I flashed it the last time, so probably if this extracted to a shorter name or some other random garbage to rename it to this again or something. I think it worked to just to rename it to also. By the way, this is pretty. It's not even. I mean, they could really release BIOS updates more often, right? Yes, by the way, 3 or so. Yeah, it's probably version 1 or 3 or 2. Is this the version we have here? BIOS 1302. Here we have probably this one here from February. Okay, to be fair, maybe there wasn't something that much. So maybe this was even the latest version. So what did we get? New Pro update, combo stuff, DRAM stability, system performance. So maybe we get a little bit system performance and more system performance and stability and DRAM stability. Anyway, although it's pretty good, I can't complain. But anyway, yeah, 2020 on Linux you can just use the file. On Windows you need a BIOS rename EXE because yeah. Also, can we finally reach here Firefox? Mr. Wong knows was one CISC either that has fixed length 68K. All the 68K instructions are 16-bit. So that sounds not too bad. What if you JIT entire function rather than JITting each individual? And what if you JITted entire functions rather than JITting each individual instruction? What exactly do you mean by this? I would anyway JIT instructions, and also I wouldn't. So I would only JIT And also I said I would try, and which is also why I would want to have some, keep it more stupid, small, simple code, is that to better do research and experiments. And in the beginning not focus on 99% of the performance, but first off only 10% of the functions needed to get the stuff working. Because the JIT, usually they have interpreter to interpret until they hit hot code. And I wonder if you, I said this long time before and posted this already here. Now we finally hit Firefox. Now we can see what happens for our Octane build. Maybe, maybe not. Always jitting it, right? So also save the interpreter. Also, yeah, keep it stupid simple. Why an interpreter when we want to JIT it? So always JIT everything. So if the main function is loaded, like JIT the main function, and then only JIT stuff, also reduce startup latency, and also, yeah, JIT also not highly optimized, like JIT like poor code, like stupid simple, like an interpreter would somewhat run it, as we don't have an interpreter, and then do the hot pass of if stuff without an interpreter. If it gets hot, then optimize it more, and also on-demand JIT only functions on a per function level as soon as they are used. Theoretically, you can even multi-thread it so that this you could optimize in the background, like continue having running the poorly JITted code, and if it's hot, then in parallel JIT hot functions, and then switch over to them, like synchronizes, stop on some known boundary, and then switch over to the optimized code, and the possibilities are endless. I'm really a little bit disappointed of how old-fashioned and, yeah, so much C code of manual. Yeah, the people spend 90% of their time managing manually fiddle zero terminated string pointers and buffer over and underruns, and instead of focusing more on some more amazing modern code. Maybe this means, because I'm not like, if we implement C compatibility, I'm not really feeling like supporting all the exotic and not very like implementation defined nonsense. So maybe I would strive for some 90% or 95% C compatibility, and if you want to compile stuff with our modern stuff, then it's like, you should anyway not run C. So maybe only some 90% of reasonable code, like not doing crazy stuff. And if you want to do crazy stuff, then you need to rewrite your C code a little bit cleaner. And in general, you shouldn't use it anyway. So yeah, it starts compiling. We're probably already a little bit into it. We can also clean, maybe have some random stuff. And let's build MIPS64 var 80m Firefox out. And so yeah, this is compiling. Probably takes a while as per usual. Really wonder if later today, let's yeah, could take 7 minutes, could also some background load anyway. So yeah, but as I could actually check probably, but what I wanted to say, so yeah, not lots of stuff to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all this fun stuff. Probably in some soon I test your Spark, maybe in a separate video, just because why not. And to be fair, probably this was the latest BIOS here when I had this, so maybe I even flashed this, not sure, maybe. But so yeah, I'm definitely using it longer than 3, yeah. So probably this was just released when I upgraded that. Anyway, that's, yeah, actually, okay, one more minute, one more coffee. Mr. Bonks asked about TempleOS. Yes, I know it has JIT button, yeah. And didn't this on a high level glance did not look as amazing that I would already not. And besides, if people are, this is also too religious for my taste, so I'm not even, I know how to program. So as usual, did you look into this? Like, yeah, I've seen Lua JIT, I've seen stuff from Mozilla V8 also. I said this before, a tiny little patch of me, the first external patch accepted to V8 from Google was a patch of mine, although a tiny little thing, but nonetheless cool. And I know how to program, so I would rather want to focus on writing, coding my ideas instead of spending even more time staring at others people, holy temple stuff of, yeah. But whatever. So let's see what we got here. So, oh man, Firefox, can you build, make, so load 52, obviously. Again, this is hopefully, as you see, we made so much progress, YOLO'd and quirked and stuff. The only thing is Neon, but yeah, who has Neon? The big thing, so this is really the last video of this boring stuff. Then comes testing, and the Graver posts some stuff, I'm certainly aware of that. So yeah, this was the last boring video, but you see how much boring time you need to spend on YOLOing all the stuff, and we have not even spent the time of hot fixing or whatever, debugging what is wrong with our linker wildcard support there, which works for everything except MIPS64, which is rather strange. Yeah, so next comes testing, which is then not, well, it could still be, well, testing will be relatively short, so the biggest time is spent of getting the hardware here on the table, booting it. Sun power up time is already like some minutes, and hopefully sometimes the memory didn't even always pass as the most stable of some exotic stuff. Anyway, testing could be relatively short. I hope it works, because I don't really want to spend my time on debugging random segmentation faults, as seen previously, disappearing with debug symbols and not stripping. That was a wasted time also. So it compiled super long. I also wonder how much assembly stuff is even in there for this to potentially not support old-fashioned 20-year-old MIPS processors. Man, does it take long. It's also really loaded. Do we get to an end? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, let's see what messages I got there. Do we approach final linking? Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, but it looks like that we can actually, while we wait anyway, do we still have this running somewhere here maybe? We could yeah, people discussing Templar stuff. Not sure how brilliant that. I mean, being so religious, not sure if that can be brilliant to be that religious. Here's slips. Yeah, this is. Yeah, whatever we want to do with that though. That was less build alpha or ADM logs. What was it, dbus? Oh no, glib it was. Yeah, I also really wonder why do they need actually, or can we configure this away, static access no member? Does it, wait a second, maybe it does even, You know what? Maybe let's somehow YOLO that VI. I mean, it doesn't even need to work the most amazingly. Let's maybe patch this away and break it, or debug what. But this is also Linux, right? Each architecture has their own strange quirks and struct members and so on. So glib, oh, okay, this errored out because that is our life. How should it be different? This is really error. What did error here? No matching function to call gsjit value operand of. So I guess not too many people have tested MIPS64 jitting, huh? So I wonder if we can disable that. Did we build in tempfs or yes, no, maybe Firefox. Firefox grep jit, does it have a old config to disable that, or with jit report, without jit report? Yeah, so I guess it's been a long time since I've compiled MIPS64. That is so much too, yeah, good that I didn't carry the Octane already. So yes, does someone want to patch this? Even I starting to run a little bit out of patience here. So glib, so yeah, patch is welcome because there's so much time I can spend with this. But yeah, so the usual 90%, 10%, 90%, well, 10% of the work takes 90% of the time, and then anyway, the last 10% also take 90% of the time. ls glib so statx eval make opt. It's like, yeah. Does not someone wanna contribute stuff? I want to work my also maybe object D, or was it running, or maybe it was running. Ninja, obviously. Yeah. User include, so where would statx come from? Statx generic, maybe something this cool. Bits statx. What does it not find here of eval? Yeah, Ninja. Statx has no member, so does not end time. Yeah. Here's statx timestamp. Use workaround and marker expansion. Yeah. Statx generic and Linux stat. Statx generic. So what is yours as timestamps? Type struct. Statx timestamp. Man, what a clusterfuck. Okay, here's some A time, B time, C time, M time, maybe. GIO, G local. file info. Which line even? 134, what is it? Struct stat x, stat buffer st in time sec 134. I mean, it looks quite generic, so what does it do here? Stat buffer of defined have stat. Okay, stat, but maybe not s stat. Maybe can we maybe disable this? Have stat x can meson of. Maybe we disable that and not care about that. Static supported Android systems don't reliably support as of August something system Android and compiles. Well, we could, what does it say otherwise? If this, then Android system. Yeah, recurring theme, you can never need to work with too many build systems 2020. Maybe just YOLO this somehow, as in maybe we can like fix file .x and like comment it out and see if calling this fix file diff no .x patch alpha, because no, I don't have an alpha anyway, and who needs that precise .x stuff of new system calls for more, what even did it, was it for more timing precision, or what exactly was it meant for? Information storing buffer pointed to files timetimes. So what was the huge benefit? Well, more control, more status information, more everything, I guess. 2016 of statx long time part of supersedes functionality of statx and fstat at argument. Right, so modifies the behavior system call, follow something, and yeah, so all the modern stuff of that. Hey, and this even work around that, so it's probably good enough for me until someone, if you want this better, send a patch or donate an alpha. That was glib of no.x. No, not this. That was glib. This builds glib statx for alpha for now. Oops. Disable glibs, whatever. If it builds, it's good enough for me. So yeah, JIT for MIPS, either we would need to fix this. That probably, if we just YOLO around in the MIPS64 JIT, it will probably just randomly crash anyway. So maybe we better review the code and figure out how to disable that. Now this mine stuff, it's hilarious, which is just until recently this build, it's really hilarious. var adm log 10 mine. Yeah, stupid Unicode as usual. I really wonder how this broke, but actually maybe this could be shell dash or something, but anyway, yeah, it's only medium important. So yeah, Intanium Alpha MIPS Spark only live on this channel. More Motorola M60K, of course this also feels the same. at least that is reproducible 68 or ADM 0 mine log build. So yeah, there you have it. Also probably Motorola 68K Firefox not supported. I wonder what it takes, if it's possible, to build Firefox without assembly stuff. In my opinion, always a good style. If you have a huge code base that it can be built without tricks and assembly hacks, but with Mozilla Firefox you never know. Yeah, we will find out someday with RISC-V and Motorola 68K, or I think Intenium was supported, Alpha 2, so yeah, Alpha Intenium should theoretically be supported. MIPS64, a really pity. Would have loved to take the SGI out now, probably hasn't. We test at least it built, my Firefox build cross-compiled on Spark. MIPS64 needs unfortunately a little bit more work of YOLOing the JIT stuff, but yeah. Usual theme, you guessed it already, you sit here day and night and weekend and public holidays and 20% hour after the other, and at the end everything works and everything is YOLOed and so much fixed and quirked and patched, and then Firefox MIPS64 JIT compiler doesn't compile for missing arguments of, yeah. Anyway, maybe I try to patch this, maybe I try to hack it out. Leave me in the comments below, and patches welcome. I probably go for lunch and later test this. I hope you learned something and enjoy this more live open source stuff. We have ISOs coming, also SCons. Yeah, this also, yeah. We need to patch this certainly, as I said before, my own recommendations, not to just YOLO over this always, but yeah, this is just a shared file. Yes, so some really tiny but annoying. It's like also really wonder why this Python stuff needs to touch each other's files there all and over again. But that's it for today. A lot of stuff. Yeah, so as seen recurrently on hundreds of videos, T2 is amazing. Some say the best and certainly most vanilla Linux out there. Leave in the comments what you miss, what you think to all the topics. Don't forget, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. This is also the more main channel of hopefully more AAA edited content. Patreon, if you think this stuff is valuable, even $1 a month plus VAT. Each patch counts. As usual, what we could do now is debug and patch the MIPS64 JIT, or write our own, or both. And otherwise, see you later for Sunblade 1000 Firefox testing. Also PowerPC stuff works, and Atom. So yeah, the good thing is, so as I said, other installer stuff, soon writing some code, because I want this latest build also my Sony Vario P, previous video. People love it very much. Atom set series 32-bit stuff, which is certainly super nice. And then the big task, certainly soon, microkernel stuff, more main channel, JIT compiler stuff, which we started already, but need to write some real code for that. And otherwise, Rust and Cargo cross-compilation, huge stuff, will probably also take multiple days. But as I said, certainly very much areas that not so many people are into this very raw live coding stuff. Totally understand this, but nonetheless, it needs to be done if we want modern Firefox. What is the issue? Modern Firefox needs Rust and Cargo, and then we need Rust and Cargo cross-compilation. So huge tasks ahead there, and I don't even appreciate it the most, right? So much to open source for fun. For me, spending my lifetime on cross-compiling others people's quirky and exotic and not very friendly packaged of Rust and Cargo, it's super annoying even for me. And although there you see the difference, right? The Rust and Cargo is like, hey, it's amazing. It's like promoting remote code execution of Rust up is not amazing. And yeah, Rust up stuff here of whatever's like, no, don't promote remote code execution. And I want to integrate it nicely in my operating system. This is not nice integration in any operating system. It needs proper packages, and with the 150 micro dependencies and Cargo working behind the back of distributions and doing its own thing, previous videos. Anyway, we need to somehow YOLO that for cross-compilation to have newer than Firefox 50 something. that's sometime soon. In the meantime, we will have new ISOs for you to play along at home for all architectures, and hope to see you soon for all this. Hopefully more fun stuff to come.